Hi friends, what's up? It's Jaime here. I have a head cold. I also got my flu shot earlier today, so I seem a little off. That's why. But I feel well enough to make this Almana theory video, which is why I'm here right now. And as I have just said theory, before anyone loses their minds, let me explain. If you watched both parts of my Pendant of Hyacinth Book 1 review, then you probably know that I originally intended to include a section about Almana. But as you might have noticed, that review is really fucking long. And for good reason. I had a lot of things to say about this series. There's a lot to talk about. Stuff that I didn't get to mention in those videos that I still am not going to mention because there's just literally so much that there's no way for me to cover it all. But I really did want to talk about Almana because I think she's a really interesting part of this series. And I felt like it wouldn't be fair to make a rush section at the end of the second part just to throw it in there and just for the sake of time. I felt like it wouldn't be fair, so I wanted to actually dedicate a full video to her. Which brings us to this video, which also, before we begin, there are a couple things I wanted to clarify. Number one, I didn't upload at all on Wednesday or Friday of this week because I was very exhausted after putting together my my just regular Pendant of Hyacinth Book 1 review. Again, if you haven't noticed, those videos are very long, much longer than what I usually put out on this channel, even though my videos can get kind of long. Those were extremely long, and not only that, but they were a month in the making, so I'd been working on them for so long, and I was just very tired and I needed a little break, so that's why I haven't uploaded throughout this week. Number two, I know that as with this video being labeled as a theory video, it might raise some questions for some people who have been following me for a while. So for people who haven't been following me for a while, I'd like to provide some additional context. If you're just finding me because of these Pendant of Hyacinth videos, hello, welcome. But if that's the case, then you probably don't know that a long time ago, I'm talking 5-6 years ago, I used the term regularly, loosely, because they were not always very regular, but I used to make a lot of theory videos about this series called Minecraft Diaries. Minecraft Diaries was a Minecraft roleplay series that aired on YouTube, again, several years ago at this point. It's been a while. It was a really big part of my adolescent years and also just a really big part of my early days on YouTube in general. And so if you can't tell, I don't really do videos like that anymore. I don't make Minecraft Diaries content, or especially I don't make theory videos anymore. And before any of you say, oh, well, you did those videos where you were reacting to your Minecraft Diaries videos. Okay, those don't, you know what I mean. Those don't count. Yes, those are Minecraft Diaries related, but in terms of actually making Minecraft Diaries related content, I haven't done that in literally years. The only reason why I'm doing a theory video now is because I really like the Pendant of Hyacinth and I'm really interested in Almana. She really intrigues me as a character and I wanted to talk about her. So I just want to make it very clear that theory videos are not coming back to my channel. And if I happen to do any theory-ish videos in the future, it's because I'm actually really passionate about whatever I'm theorizing about, and not because I feel I have to do it because I used to be the theory girl. I had a good run with making Minecraft Diaries theories. It was a lot of fun back then, but things are different now, and I don't watch Minecraft Diaries anymore. I'm also mainly saying this because I actually did get a comment recently. It was very funny. No offense to this person at all, but I did get a comment recently of somebody saying make Minecraft Diaries videos again. And I'm I don't know what you want me to talk about. There hasn't been an episode of Minecraft Diaries in a really long time. What is there even for me to talk about? Unless something's happened that I wasn't aware of, but even if I wanted to, I don't think there's really any material for me to make Minecraft Diaries videos on at the moment. But yeah, so that's the main reason why I'm bringing this up. Minecraft Diaries videos and also theory videos by extension are not making a comeback to the channel. I'm just kind of doing this one theory video because, again, I'm really interested in the Pendant of Hyacinth's lore and whatnot. and I really wanted to talk about it. Maybe I'll make, if I continue to make like more theory kind of videos in the future, again, it might be a follow-up to like this video, depending on like information we receive in like book 2, when book 2 of Pendant of the oh my god, I can't talk, of the Pendant of Hyacinth comes out. But like, you know, like this isn't gonna be a regular thing, so don't expect it to be a regular thing. Okay, now with all of that out of the way, let's finally talk about Almana. Oh, also, before I begin, I feel like I shouldn't have to say this, but I'm gonna say it anyway. We're gonna be talking about spoilers here in this video. We're heading into spoiler territory for the book 1 of the Pendant of Hyacinth. So if you haven't read the book in its entirety and you plan on doing so, maybe don't watch this video yet and come back after you've, you know, completed your reading. But yeah, so with that said, let's get into the video. Almana is a character that we hear a lot about throughout book 1 of the Pendant of Hyacinth, but we don't actually get to meet her, or at the very least see her in scenes where it tells us it's her. I think we can all deduce that that shadowy figure that that Hazel is like talking to in moments in the book, you know, that's Almana, but like obviously doesn't explicitly tell us that that's her. Almana is clearly a very complicated person, and we know this for a couple of reasons. Reasons that the book tells us, and reasons that Riley directly like tells us like on Instagram, that she directly highlights. Starting with the book reasons, one of the first things that we're told about Almana, besides the fact that she's Jay's mom, is that she was previously the guardian of Eos before Talia inherited the role. And by inherit that role, I mean Almana was like, "You're guardian now," and then she dipped. Now, it's not exactly like Almana made a bad judgment call by making Talia guardian, especially considering that her other options were Jay and Harmony. But the fact that she was willing to put such a heavy burden on someone so young and then leave so that Talia didn't have anyone to like lean on for support in times of crisis, it really just kind of goes to show how Almana is no stranger to making questionable decisions. So knowing that, we know that Almana makes a lot of questionable decisions. Well, I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say that's probably more often than not that she makes questionable decisions, just given some stuff we're gonna talk about in a bit. But there's still a lot of mystery surrounding why she left in the first place, considering the fact that even Jay, her own son, like has no idea. However, while I'm unsure of some of the finer details of it all, I feel like I have a pretty good idea of why Almana had to leave, or rather felt like she had to leave Eos the way that she did. I want to break down Almana's decision to leave in 2 parts: her paranoia and her tendency to go to extreme lengths to obtain desired results. From the character profile I've established of Almana from the information I've accumulated thus far, I think it's pretty safe to say that Almana was a very paranoid person. And how do I know this? Well, Talia is actually our greatest proof of that. We know from Talia's nightmares that Talia is very worried about the future. She's very worried about letting people down. She is overworked and underappreciated, and all around just generally being crushed by the immense pressure of the world being at stake. We also know from Riley's Instagram post about Harmony, Talia, and Jay as they were growing up that Almana projected herself immensely onto Talia. So much so that, in Riley's own words, the decision over who was going to be made the next guardian was basically made on its own. Personally, I think that this is telling us that Talia's paranoia about the future was originally Almana's paranoia that was projected onto her, but has slowly become Talia's paranoia over time due to Almana's absence and also due to the nightmare crisis emerging. I think that this is also telling us that some of Talia's other more negative qualities stem from Almana's influence. My prime example of this is how willing Talia was to like immediately bring Hazel back to Eos. Something I thought that was really interesting about like her argument with Ariel at the end of book 1, the biggest part of their argument was the fact that Ariel's like, Hazel is literally 14, like you can't, like they're a kid, and Talia's like, well, yeah, they're a kid, but they're gonna also help us save the fucking world. I thought that was a really interesting conversation because now looking at it in the grand scheme of things, it feels a lot like, you know, really without even knowing it, I feel like Talia is almost doing the same thing that Almana did to her by like, because her bringing Hazel back with her to Eos is essentially going to kind of put Hazel in a very similar position as Almana once put Talia in, so I just thought that was really interesting. Now, it might be too early to say anything for sure, and obviously Talia is much more kind and gentle than Almana has proven herself to be, but I just thought it was really interesting to kind of examine that there are some parallels between how Talia is kind of starting to treat Hazel and how Almana previously has treated Talia. I also want to make it abundantly clear that Talia is a very distinct character with her own like distinct character traits, but I feel like it isn't too big of an assumption to make that a lot of Almana's influence has kind of bled into Talia's character in some ways. Now, that's all I have to say about that for now, but we're gonna come back to the Almana, Talia, Hazel connection, so just put a pin in it for now. This same Instagram post also gives us some more insight into the questionable and extreme choices that Almana makes. Riley clearly states that Almana had a habit of encouraging Talia, Jay, and Harmony while they were in competition for the role of Guardian in a way that kind of bordered on being psychologically unhealthy. It's also in this post that Riley explicitly states that Almana had some serious issues, but I feel like that's pretty evident from what we've established of her character so far. Anyway, Almana's methods of motivating Talia, Jay, and Harmony when they were young clearly go beyond just like simply encouraging healthy competition and definitely bordered more on like the extreme side. Like she basically told Harmony that like it was okay for her to manipulate Talia and her own son. Like that was really crazy to me. Like was that not crazy to anybody else? Because that was really crazy to me. So I think we can all agree that Almana's kind of fucked up. Like, while she might have had good intentions, the way she just went about certain things is just, for lack of a better word, fucked up. But why? Why is Almana like this? Truthfully, we can't really examine that just yet because we just don't know enough about Almana or her past to draw any solid conclusions. The only thing we can really do right now is look at her objectively through the information that's already been given to us and just kind of try to piece things together from there. Going back to Almana's decision to leave Eos in the first place, it's clear to me that it was an extreme decision that was egged on by her paranoia. But what happened exactly? Here's what I think is what happened. So I think that Almana knew before anyone else that the Nightmare Crisis was going to occur. I believe that the Nightmare Crisis was an inevitable event. It was going to happen no matter what, and that Almana knew before anyone else. I don't know how she knew before anyone else. Hopefully that's an answer we'll get in book 2, but that's what I think. I believe that over time, Almana's paranoia and anxiety over the Nightmare Crisis only got worse to the point that she realized that something needed to be done about it. I think we can safely conclude that because she was Guardian, that Almana was pretty capable as a fighter. We don't know exactly how powerful she was, but I'd go out on a limb to say that she was pretty freaking powerful. Almana leaves Eos because she needs to find a way to prevent, or at the very least, mitigate the Nightmare Crisis before it gets too out of hand. This leads Almana to creating the titular pendant as a means to dealing with the Nightmare Crisis. How did she know that this was going to work? I'm not entirely sure, but this is why a part of me believes that Almana already had information about what to do about the Nightmare Crisis before she left Eos. However, I also believe that the creation of this pendant did not come without its immense costs, although, as we already know about Almana, she is no stranger to going to extreme lengths to get what she wants. So what do I think Almana had to sacrifice in order to create the pendant? To put it simply, I think it was her. This is where I'm really gonna go out on a limb here, but this was the only way that I could explain what's happening with the little information that we have, so humor me for a bit. I believe that Almana, in a Steven Universe-esque kind of fashion, may have used herself to create the pendant. I won't spoil Steven Universe if you haven't seen it, so I apologize if you don't know what I'm talking about, but essentially I believe that Almana is the pendant. In a sense. Kinda. It's complicated. As we all know, the pendant eventually makes its way into Hazel's hands, and when it does, it speaks to them, which, you know, isn't usually something that jewelry typically does, or at least not any jewelry that I'm aware of anyway. Or rather, it's not the pendant that talks to Hazel, but instead a ominous shadow that accompanies Hazel as they dig up the pendant. Now maybe the shadow really is Almana's physical form. Maybe she's just really good at being shadowy, but I'm more inclined to believe that Almana's physical body has become one with the pendant, and that the shadow that Hazel sees is actually Almana's spirit. And by combining her physical body with the pendant, Almana thus lends her abilities in transforming nightmares back into dreams. I'm inclined to believe that this is the case due to an Instagram reel that Riley posted about Almana, where she used an audio that basically indicated that we're going to see Almana again in another life, but I think that we're already seeing her in this other life with her physical body as the pendant and her spirit as the shadowy figure that Hazel sees. And if Almana is now a spirit, it would also explain why Hazel looks kind of possessed in certain promo shots for the Pendant of Hyacinth. From the way that Almana is communicating with Hazel in the book, in the promo posts, in the trailers, it seems to me like she's trying to project herself onto Hazel the way that she once did with Talia. Again, once we get to the finer details of it all, I'm gonna be honest, I don't really know what I'm talking about, but at the very least, I feel like I've at least established a loose outline of what happened to Almana after she left Eos. At this point, only time will tell if anything I've said in this video holds any weight at all in Book 2 and Book 3. Anyway, that is all I have for this theory video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm very excited for Book 2 of The Pendant of Hyacinth. I'm very interested to learn more about Almana as a character. I'm really excited to see if anything I said in this video was remotely correct, or if I was so egregiously wrong that it's not even funny. Like, either way, I'm very excited for Book 2 to come out in November. Let me know down below in the comments what you guys think about this theory, and any theories that you guys might have about what's gonna happen in Book 2. And yeah, that's all I have for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I upload every Wednesday and Friday, except when I don't, and sometimes on Saturdays. And I will see you guys in my next video. Bye, guys.